Order of events. In English, events are not always told in the order in which they occurred. Sometimes the author may need to discuss something that happened at an earlier time. The English language does this by using different tenses or time words, such as yesterday, last year, or before that. Other languages clearly state the order of events to avoid confusion. It is important to help your readers understand the order of events when translating into your language. Here are a couple of examples. Following the Greek wording, a literal translation of Luke chapter 10, verse 34 would say, "He, the Samaritan, went to the man that was beaten and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine." This could sound like the Samaritan bandaged the wounds and then poured oil and wine on them, or that he did all this at the same time. To make the order of what happened more clear, you might consider rearranging the phrases in this sentence to read, "The Samaritan went to him, poured oil and wine on his wounds, and put bandages on them." Let us now compare two different translations of another verse. In Revelation chapter 5, verse 2 from the RSV, we see, "Who is worthy to open the scroll and break its seals?" This follows the Greek word order. Now let us compare that to the GNB. Who is worthy to break the seals and open the scroll? Which version tells the events in the order they occurred? If you said the GNB, you are correct. By putting the events in the order that they occurred, it makes the meaning clearer. Only reorder verses when necessary to avoid confusion. When reordering verses, be certain that the meaning is unchanged, the translation is accurate, and the reordering provides a clearer translation. Next, let us look at a sample order of events. Typically, people start each day by doing the same steps. For example, wake up, get out of bed, get dressed. But we would not say, every morning I get dressed, wake up, and get out of bed. The correct order would be, every morning when I wake up, I get out of bed and get dressed. Sometimes, to emphasize or highlight a point, the Bible text presents things in a different order than they occurred. Let us look at an example. Luke chapter 8, verses 37 through 38. "And he got into a boat and returned to the other side of the lake. But the man from whom the demons had gone out asked that he might go with him." Do you see what is out of order? How would you fix it? In verse 37, it sounded like Jesus had already left in the boat, but in the next verse, the man is talking to him. But this is actually what he said before Jesus left. Luke is highlighting it. This is a Greek language pattern that is not natural in English. Some languages will have to say, "Before Jesus left, the man said to him." Other languages may need to switch the order. First the man speaking to Jesus, and then Jesus leaving in the boat. Now let us look at some examples in the Bible where the order of events might be a problem in some languages. Luke chapter 9, verses 1 through 6 says, "When Jesus had called the 12 together, he gave them power and authority to drive out all demons and to cure diseases. And he sent them out to proclaim the kingdom of God and to heal the sick. He told them, 'Take nothing for the journey, no staff, no bag, no bread, no money, no extra shirt.' So they set out and went from village to village, proclaiming the good news and healing people everywhere." In this example, Jesus calls the disciples together in order to send them out to preach the gospel. Before they leave, he gives them instructions. The way the text reads, it could sound like he had already sent them out in verse 2, and then in verse 3, he instructed them. Some languages would have to put this in the order in which it occurred. Number 1, called the disciples together. Number 2, gave them power. Number 3, told them. Number 4, sent them out. In the text, 3 and 4 are in the opposite order, which will not make sense in some languages. Some languages could just say in verse 2, before he sent them out, he told them. Other languages might prefer to switch the order and not say that he sent them out until verse 6. They would write, he gave them power and authority to proclaim the kingdom of God and heal the sick. He told them, at the beginning and end with, then he sent them out and they went. Remember, only reorder verses, sentences, or phrases when necessary to avoid confusion or wrong meaning. The translation should always be clear, accurate, and natural. This now ends the lesson on the importance of helping your readers understand the correct order of events.